Good afternoon. Welcome back to the channel. Today is Friday, January the 17th. I hope everyone had not only a good trading day, but a fantastic trading week, as volatility has definitely been the name of the game. And stocks posted another market rally here today on Friday, rising about 3% for the week, heading into the three-day holiday weekend on improved sentiment and economic optimism. The continuation of lower bond yields this week helped following this week's cooler CPI and PPI December readings, as well as dovish comments from Fed Waller yesterday, saying that if we continue to get inflation numbers like December, then it is reasonable to think that they could get rate cuts in the first half of 2025, and we did see the probabilities of a June rate cut come into play, and we'll see what the future holds as for the rest of the year as well later on down the road. And we also saw strong economic data showing that the U.S. economy is pretty evident that there is strength there, especially with the big jump in Philadelphia manufacturing, which came in yesterday with a reading of 44.3 versus a -5. And then we also got significantly better housing starts and permits data today, along with higher industrial production. And markets, they also saw strong earnings results from large cap banks this week. We saw good earnings from JP Morgan, Citigroup, Wells Fargo, Goldman, and Morgan Stanley. That boosted financials for the XLF to be up 6% this week, and that is where next week's activity will pick up. Just taking a look here, we got big earnings from Charles Schwab. Netflix is after the close on Tuesday to set the tone for the Mag 7. We got Capital One thrown in there. You got guys like Discover, Johnson & Johnson, Halliburton, CSX, GE Aerospace, and then UNP. Lots of good names here. Verizon, American Express, all going to be ramping up this week, or next week, excuse me, as earnings season continues to get underway here. But yeah, we got a holiday coming up on Monday, and we got about 9% of the SPY earnings to be posting their results. We got let's see, what else happened? We got the US dollar also. Yeah, speaking of that, the US dollar declined. Sorry, I'm just reading my notes. The US dollar declined on the week for the second time since the Fed rate cuts, while the Treasury yields finally fell. So yeah, and not to mention on Monday, of course, we got the presidential election of Donald Trump, and markets are definitely waiting details of his executive orders that are going to be coming in on day one. And just as a reminder, that President-elect Donald Trump said that at the end of November of 2024 that he does plan to impose a 25% tariff on all products entering the United States from Canada and Mexico using an executive order. And he did say that he intends to sign that on day one, or excuse me, by January 20th of this year. So yeah, that's going to be interesting to see if he does follow through with that. And both economies from Canada and Mexico are likely to retaliate to those U.S. tariffs with targeted tariffs themselves, leading to a trade war. And the main fear of that is that the plans on his tariffs and immigration could spark a trade war with our close border friends, and this could increase price pressures at a time when the economy is already pretty strong. So we'll see. Is Trump going to come in swinging, or is it going to be a gradual thing? And, what is he going to do with China? There's a lot of questions going in to the start of Trump's second presidential term. The market loved Trump on his first on his first presidency. We'll see if we get the same thing. It's going to be an interesting ride, that is for darn sure. But yeah, enough of me rambling on. I'm sure you're probably bored of that now. Yeah, let's take a peek at the economic calendar. It's pretty quiet next week. We got the bank holiday on Monday as well as the presidential election. Other than that, weekly unemployment claims, and we got the flash manufacturing PMI data and flash services PMI on Friday. Yeah, nothing crazy. I mean, this week was pretty big with the CPI and PPI, so, and retail sales. So this week was pretty big. Next week is nice to have a breather. So yeah, we'll stay tuned for that. Nothing crazy. Even Fed speakers are in their quiet spots, so that's good. All right, let's get to the nitty gritty. Finally, Brian, get to the nitty gritty. SPY, still neutral on the daily here. Nothing's changed here. Although, structurally speaking, we have recaptured the daily 50 simple moving average. Another point for the bulls there. We're still in a daily squeeze here. Trend on the MACD is still a little bit bearish. The oscillator is still inverted, so it's more in a neutral bullish position. We do have strong thrust coming in, as you can see with these back-to-back green arrows. That's a positive sign here. On the 1 hour, we can see that we reclaimed the hourly 200. That's a bonus there. We got a mid-bull score now with no squeeze. We did have a squeeze right here to get us going. This was that inverted head and shoulder pattern that we looked at, 585. That bumped us up. Hit our head up here, and then we got the gap up this morning, and yeah, there you go. Today was pretty interesting. It was kind of slow, I'm not gonna lie. I even took a few day trades today. First one didn't work out. This is the 1 minute here on the right hand side, 30-minute on the second hand side. We just kind of stalled out, and I was looking for this to go short and, us to get this gap fill. But, the only thing we did was come out to the 1 minute 21 and bounced from there. We didn't really get the 5 minute close that I was looking for, and that was on me. I prematurely jumped the gun on that. But once we saw that things were going to go, we did reverse things and took a call there, and we took those from 85 cents to $1.10. But if you held on longer, those definitely paid out pretty nicely, because the SPY definitely hit about $5.99 on the day. So pretty good move today in general on the bulls. Let's go ahead and point out some levels here. If we do want to see continuation, we got a little bit of overhead here at about the 600 mark. And above that, there's a little bit of a gap to fill to 602, which is already marked out. So 600 to 602, that's going to be your next zone to kind of tend with if the market wants to move on ahead. We do have some gaps down here that we need to be aware of moving forward. If we start to lose the hourly 200 here at about 595, we got a gap to fill all the way back down to about 593 and some change. And below that, there's a gap to fill between 589 and 586, give or take. So there's that on the SPY. But for the most part, we're back to a nice little bullish setting here. Let's go to the Qs. Qs here, same story here. Big, powerful move to get us going. Qs have reclaimed the key moving averages on the daily. They did exactly what they needed to with what we talked about on on Sunday prep, where they needed to defend the weekly 21 EMA. They did exactly that, and a little bit better. As you can see, we cut through the trend line. That was a terrible line drawing. We closed above the key moving averages. So support down here. Let's see, what is this level? Let's go ahead and draw it out. Let's see, we'll go ahead and draw this out. About the 511.50 mark, that's the area that we will want to hold. We do have a small gap here on the hourly, it looks like at about 518.67. Gap fill will take you about 515 and some change, but definitely things have changed. Neutral here, still on the daily. Structure score is 7. even though we did reclaim there. We're in a mid-level compression squeeze now. We went from a low compression squeeze now to a mid-level compression squeeze. That's just the Bollinger Bands getting even more tighter within the Keltner channels. This is still neutral bull. This is pretty much why there's a neutral score here, is because the oscillator is in an incorrect position. Quote unquote incorrect. It's just neutral bull. The green needs to be above the red, and that would pretty much correct this score. But it's still bullish. We even got a strong thrust signal here on the daily. So in my opinion, bulls have done a phenomenal job this week. And yeah, the only thing left to see is if, what the overall effects from Trump swearing in and seeing what his new policies are going to be moving forward. But here we go. 528 is going to be our next overhead target. Above that, there is a gap to fill towards 531. Like I said, there is a gap below here at about 519, and then we want to hold support at about 511.50, because below that there's a deeper gap to fill towards about 505.20. So that's where we will look to keep things going along here. As far as everything else goes, yeah, there's still a lot of good setups out there. Hood being one of them. Very solid. I wouldn't be chasing here. This is a little extended. At this point in time, if you're buying up here, you have to go in understanding that you're buying up here at the highs, and you need to be okay. Well, if this thing pulls back, it's going to pull back to at least the daily 21, if anything, and then that's what see, that's at 42, so you're risking $6 if you're buying up here. However, if you're already in hood, I mean, this is definitely one of the better looking charts out there. If you're already in this, congratulations. Just continue to raise your stops and continue to milk the profit. Let's see what else we got. We got AVGO on the board. We have a nice daily squeeze here. This is coming from the semiconductors. You're holding on to the daily 21 EMA. This could be a nice little debit spread position. Let's go check out NVIDIA now that we're thinking about some of these semiconductors. And NVIDIA's still not quite there yet. It's still neutral hour. It's got a daily low compression squeeze. Even though we got a strong thrust signal, I would like for this to get back above the daily 50, and we'll see how things want to go. I am still holding on to some Google positions. This still looks pretty nice. I'm looking for a move towards that 200 and even new all-time highs at about 201.42. We're still in a daily squeeze. Oscillators in great position. We still have strong thrust, low compression squeeze with a mid-bull score on the hourly. I like the looks of that. We were able to take profit on some of our Tesla with today's pretty awesome move. This is still in the works, still setting up. I'm still holding a small position. Strong thrust here. Low compression squeeze still on board, but we are still holding on to the key moving averages here. We're trading above the 21 and the 50. They're both rising, and we're holding pretty solid here, and it looks good to me. We just had a pullback on that last hour or so of the market, so we'll see if we can continue to hold 420 on. That's a nice little number for you. 420 on the hourly to keep things going, and then there's also good stuff on here with Roblox, still very strong. ANET looks really good, and NET still looks pretty awesome as well. So I'm looking at new swings on NET, maybe even a swing on HILMS. I'm liking the look of this one. It's in a neutral spot. We got a fresh new daily squeeze. It's pulled back to the key moving averages. We have mid-level thrust. So yeah, there's not too much to complain about this either. Yeah, stops below. Let's see if I would have stops. Probably be stops around like 26, maybe even down to about 24 if you really, 24 seems reasonable. And then, targeting up here around the 30 mark. We just got to get above this, have a good move off this hourly compression up above the hourly 200 and into that 30 mark. So that looks pretty good to me. You remember when we started the week out, there was only 49% of the stocks within the S&P 500 that were above their 200 moving average. It would help if I spelled this right. There we go. SPXA 200R. Let's go check that out. I think I did not do that right. SPXA 200R. There we go. Now we're at about 58%. So a big improvement on market breadth. More stocks are now trading above their 200. Let's go check out the 50. How many stocks are above their 50? And it looks like we are now at 40%. 40% of stocks above their daily 50. Remember, when we started the week, only 16% was trading. So a huge improvement on that front. But all right, that's going to be it for me, guys. If you're in the Discord, we are going to be doing Sunday night prep on Monday because Monday's a holiday, and I think my wife and I are going to be doing stuff. So we'll be doing Sunday night prep on Monday instead. But yeah, have a good long weekend. We'll be back at it. I'll be running some more scans, and we'll be back at it. All right, guys. Have a good one. Take care, and I will see you all next time.